Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, how are you today? I hope you are all in the good conditions. Okay, today I will share our project about phrases. But before speaking a lot, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Deni Andriani, and with my partner Sumayah Nitma, we will present our project about phrases and its types. Okay, the first is phrases. What is a phrases? A phrases is a group of related words, but it do not contain a subject and verb, and also do not express a complete idea. So, a phrases is a group of related words that do not contain subject and verb, and also do not express a complete idea. We can say that it's not a complete sentence. Okay, to make you more understand about the phrase, I will give you some example. Here, I have written down a few sentences for you, and let us identify the phrases in this sentence. Okay, from the first sentence, Roy is making tea for the guests. Let us identify it. Roy here as a subject, is making as a verb, which is as a finite, and then making as a predicate. Tea here as an object. And then what about for the guest? Okay. Does for the guest have a subject? No, it doesn't. Does it have a verb? No, it doesn't. And then does it express a complete idea or it is a complete sentence? No, it doesn't. Does it a group of words? Yes. So we can say that it is a phrase, which means that it is a group of words. Okay, let's go to the next sentence. Benny is standing near a wall. Benny here as a subject, is standing as a verb, is as a finite, and then standing as a predicate. What about near wall? Does it have a subject? No, it doesn't. Does it have a verb? No, it doesn't. Does it express a complete idea? Or does it a complete sentence? No, it doesn't. Does it a group of words? Yes. So we can say that it is a phrase, which is it is a group of sentence. Okay guys, we have learned about the phrases. I hope you can understand about the phrase well. So now, let's move on to learn about types of phrases. Okay, here we have 10 types of phrases that we will explain it more after this. Okay, the first type is verb phrase, and then gerund phrase, adverb phrase, adjective phrase, absolute phrase, noun phrase, appositive phrase, preposition phrase, participle phrase, and the last is infinitive phrase. Okay, the first type is verb phrase. What is a verb phrase? A verb phrase is a group of words that contains a main verb and auxiliaries or helping verb. I think you have known about the auxiliary or helping verb. Auxiliary or a helping verb consists of to be, do, have, and modals such as is, are, do, does, have, has, had, can, may, must, shall, and etc. So going back to verb phrase include the main verb and the auxiliary, so there are combination of both of them. Okay, now let's take a look at the first sentence. He is eating an apple. Okay, Here as a subject is a to be. Like I said before, that to be is an auxiliary verb. And then eating. Eating is a verb, or we can say it's a main verb. So we can say that is eating is a verb phrase because it includes an auxiliary and also a main verb. Okay, and then for the next sentence. She has finished her work. She here as a subject. Has is a auxiliaries or helping verb. And then finished here as a main verb. Main verb. So we can say that has finished is a verb phrase because it contains auxiliaries or helping verb and main verb. Okay, let's move to the second types of phrases. That is gerund phrase. Gerund phrase is a phrase that acts as a noun in a sentence. Here you can look the pattern of gerund phrase. The pattern of gerund phrase is gerund or verb plus ing or verb ing plus modifiers. Okay, gerund here is a word that looks like a verb. It has a verb plus ing structure, but it doesn't perform the role of verb because it doesn't express an action. Okay, to make you more understand about this phrase, let's take a look for the example. The verse example. I like writing a good essays. Okay, let's identify it. I here as a subject, like as a verb, and then writing here. Does writing a verb? No, writing is not a verb. Writing here is a gerund. Why? Because it actually performs a role of noun. Because here we're talking about the act of writing, not about the doing of writing. So we can say that writing is a gerund. And good essays here is modifiers that tell us more about the gerund, about the writing. So writing a good essays is a gerund phrase, and the gerund phrase acts as a noun, and here a noun here is an object. Okay, let's move to the second sentence. Walking to the beach is fun. Okay, walking here is not a verb, it is a gerund. Like I said before, it's it's actually perform a role of noun, not an action. So walking here is a gerund. To the beach is a modifiers. It tells us more about walking. So we can say that to the beach is modifiers. So we can conclude that walking to the beach is a gerund phrase. And the gerund phrase here acts as a noun, that is a subject in this sentence. Okay. Okay, next move on to the next types of the phrases, which is an adverb phrase. What is an adverb phrase? An adverb phrase is a group of words that function as an adverb in a sentence. An adverb here is a word that tells us more about the verb or adjective. Now, I want you to know that sometimes an adverb phrase can also be a prepositional phrase. Why? You can get the answer after we have identified the sentence below. Okay, so let's look at the first sentence to understand what I just said. Sally always drives with care. Okay, let us identify this sentence. Sally here as a subject, and then always drives as a verb. With care here is an adverb phrase. Why? Okay, let me ask you. How does Sally drives? The answer is Sally drives with care. So, with care is telling us more about how Sally drives, which is drive here as a verb. So we can say that with care is modifies a verb. Therefore, with care is an adverb phrase. But you see that this phrase starts with word with here. With, as we know that with here is a prepositional. So, with care can also be a prepositional phrase because it has a preposition in the phrase. Okay, let's take a look for the second sentence. Ronnie sat in a corner of the room. Ronnie here as a subject. Sat is a verb. In a corner of the room. In a corner of the room is an adverb phrase. Why? Because in a corner of the room is modifies or telling us more about where Ronnie sat. So it's identify a verb set. And same as for the first sentence, it also can be a prepositional phrase because it starts with preposition in. In here as preposition. Preposition. Okay, I hope you can understand this material. Okay, let's go to the next types of phrases, which is an adjective phrase. An adjective phrase gives us more complete role of an adjective. And what does an adjective do? An adjective gives us more information about a noun or a pronoun, or we can say it modifies a noun. A noun here can be an object, a place, a person, or an idea, and etc. So, an adjective phrase is a group of words that function or act like an adjective in a sentence. Okay, here I have written down the pattern of adjective phrase. You can use this pattern to identify an adjective phrase in a sentence. Okay, the first pattern, adjective plus adjective. For the example, dark blue and light brown. Dark and light here as an adjective. And then brown and blue here as an adjective also. So this is an adjective plus an adjective. Again, the second pattern is adjective plus adverb. For the example, big enough and good enough. Big and good here are an adjective, and then enough and enough here is an adverb. So this is an adjective plus adverb. Okay, the third pattern, adverb plus adjective. For the example, truly expensive and completely complex. Okay, truly and completely here is a adverb, and then expensive and complex is an adjective. So we can say that is a adverb plus adjective. Okay, this is the pattern. You can use this pattern and remember this pattern when you want to identify adjective phrase in a sentence. Okay, here I will give you some example how to identify a adjective phrase in a sentence. Okay, let's take a look for the sentence below. The first sentence. Roy is wearing a nice red shirt. Okay, let's identify it. Roy here as a subject is wearing as a verb which is contains of finite and predicate. And then the next is a nice red. A nice red. A nice here as an adjective. And then red here also an adjective. So we can say that a nice red is an adjective plus adjective. Therefore, a nice red here is an adjective phrase. The other reason why a nice red is an adjective phrase because it modifies a noun. Noun here is a shirt. So a nice red is telling us more about shirt. Okay, I hope you can understand it. Okay, to make you more understand, let's take a look for the second sentence. Okay, sorry. Harry gave me a glass full of water. Harry here as a subject, gave as a verb, me as an object, a glass as a noun, and then full of water. Full of water. We can say that full of water is an adjective phrase. Why? Because full of water is modifies a noun. Noun here is a glass. Okay, I hope you can understand it well. Again, the fifth types of phrases is an absolute phrase. An absolute phrase is also called a nominative phrase. So what is an absolute phrase? An absolute phrase is a phrase or a group of words that modifies the entire sentence. Let's go to learn about structure of that absolute phrase. Okay? The structure is noun plus words. What does it mean, nouns plus words? Well, just to let you know, the structure is noun plus verbal. What is verbal? Verbal is participle. Participle. Okay. So what is a participle? Participle is a word that looks like a verb. Let me give you example of participle. Okay, ski. Ski here. Ski here is a noun. And then plus ing. To be a skiing. It's become a skiing and it has the ing structure at the end. This is. So it's not a verb. Maybe you think that it's a verb, but it's not a verb because it doesn't function as a verb, but it functions as an adjective. Okay, so we can say that a participle is a word that looks like a verb. It has verb ing at the end, but it functions as an adjective. And that is the structure of absolute phrase. It has a noun and verbal. And one more thing, when I say words here, I mean that it cannot have to be verb. It can just have the noun or a verbal or participle. So here no to be, no verb or main verb. Because here we do not talking about an action, about the verb, but we are simply modifying the noun here. Okay, to understand the structure of the absolute phrase better, let's identify the sentence here. Sandy looks sad, his face expressing worry. Okay, let's identify the structure of the sentence. Sandy, Sandy here as a subject, and then looks as a verb, and then his face expressing worry. His face expressing worry is an absolute phrase. Why? Because his face and expressing worry is modified or telling us more about the entire sentence. Entire sentence here is Sandy looks sad. So this his face expressing worry is modifies this sentence. Okay. So one more thing to notice here, this absolute phrase has a noun plus participle structure. Noun here is his face. His face is noun. And then expressing worry. Expressing here is a verbal or participle. Participle. Okay, to remember the structure of absolute phrase, now I will explain it again. The structure of absolute phrase is a noun plus words. And to be noticed here, the words that I say it can include a participle or any other words, but it should not or it must not have auxiliary words and any others main verbs. Okay, remember that. Okay, this is an absolute phrase. I hope you can understand it well.